Morning, thank you everyone, especially the ECOWAS Bank for Investment and Development for organizing this EIF forum and also inviting us to be part of this forum. So we're really grateful and good morning ladies and gentlemen. We bring a short presentation about Exim Bank. We are a bank, we are a developmental financial institution constituted under an Act of Parliament of India in 1981, and in 1982 we started our operations, commencing our business activities. Our objective or our main mandate that is given to us by our parliament is to promote Indian exports in various forms that I'll be talking about. We mainly we operate in almost 78 countries by way of our credit programs, various credit programs. And in Africa, we have our own specific programs. As yesterday in the keynote, our secretary informed that more than 42 countries are beneficiaries to the line of credit program. So Exim Bank has under this line of credit program, which is a sovereign lending to various governments for their own project needs. That is one concessional lending that we do. We have a bias credit under National Export Insurance Agency, which is a commercial program through which we lend to the African countries. I'm talking about under these two programs, Africa has been the major beneficiary, and it's almost 40% under lines of credit, which is close to 14 billion USD of our presence by way of lending, and also close to 3 billion in 2.5 billion here under our bias credit program. So you can see how much our focus has been by way of our operations. We have 3 offices in Africa. Our West Africa regional office is where I'm based at. It's in Abidjan. We look after 20 countries in this region. And we have a close institutional linkage with EBID. We have a 1 billion credit line and a 100 million commercial line to ECOWAS Bank. We have another office in Southern Africa, in Johannesburg, which looks after the Southern African countries. We have an East Africa in Addis Ababa. Of course, we will be shortly moving that to Kenya. So these 3 offices oversee the entire continent, and of course the North Africa is looked after by our Dubai office. Just to give a brief of our presence in Africa. We have under our lines of credit about 303 projects till last year, and covering over 68 countries. And we have a commitment of little over 32 billion US dollars. Under our bias credit program, which I was mentioning, we have 36 projects which we had undertaken close to $3.38 billion. We cover in various sectors, which I will be coming shortly. Other than these 2 programs, we also have export capability programs by which we give term loans, we give working capital facilities, we give financing for overseas investments by our Indian companies. We do finance for research and development, and even for export facilitation, we have like trade assistance, which I'll be talking shortly. So these are some of the initiatives through which, amongst many other programs, that we operate in and across various geographies in the world. We do have close linkages through institutions also. We do co-financing. We do through multilateral development banks. Currently, if I have to talk, we also provide a lot of project export support. Currently, we have about 75 ongoing projects for close to $5.3 billion. So in this, about covering over 37 countries. So, and our 30 Indian companies are getting benefit out of these coverages. Under our overseas investment program, which we just mentioned, we cover over 78 countries with an aggregate exposure of over 67 billion US dollars. I did mention some of the things that you would have seen in the presentation about Exim Bank, covering different sectors which we mentioned in agriculture, power, water, manufacturing sector, transport, healthcare, in construction or infrastructure, in defense, are some of the sectors where we are actively involved in terms of our reach in Africa. Africa is also something unique for our, not only for Exim Bank, but is also for India. So based on our India's engagement with Africa, we do share very unique experience in terms of our reaching out to Africa through the needs of Africa is something which we keep it in mind, and then based on that the programs are developed. Also, like, we want to highlight that some key sectors where which were displayed in terms of energy, healthcare, agriculture, or equipments are all something which are with high quality and cost effective methods which were used. So in terms of project execution also, these were on a much lower side. We have advisory services. We have engaged with Industrial Development Corporation of South Africa. We have close linkage with Exim Bank. Since 1987, we have been closely associated in some form or other. We have done a lot of pre-feasibility study, especially like even in setting up of the Commonwealth Trade and Development Bank. So in that sense, we see ourselves very much rooted in Africa. We have provided technical assistance support to Ghana Exim Bank. We were involved with the Nigerian Exim Bank. So these are some things which we are actively engaged with. We have institutional linkages with International Solar Alliance, through whom we work closely to bring about renewable energy sources, especially in the area of solar sector. We also have linkages with African Development Bank, and that's where we have strategically set up our office in Abidjan. So we work closely with them and collaborate on many activities that we do together. Apart from this, I would like to highlight today our trade assistance program, which we launched a couple of years back. Under this program, which may be of also concern, there are many banks here, and there are many importers who are doing imports from India by way of equipments, or even engaging services of Indian companies. So this kind of program will definitely help, especially when while importing the equipments, the seller, that is the exporter in India, typically would like to have a letter of credit opened from a bank. However, the exporter's bank in India may not be comfortable or knowing about some of the local banks in Africa. So as Exim Bank of India, what we have under this program, which we have initiated, is trying to bring together or facilitate the transaction by entering into an agreement with the local bank, and we by that agreement we support the LC issuance. So typically when an LC gets issued, we tell our Indian bank that we are comfortable with this bank, and therefore we can start, we can facilitate this transaction. So we give a guarantee or an SBLC to our Indian bank, and on the due date, for any reason, if there is a delay in retiring that LC, then Exim Bank will pay to the Indian bank, and then we directly get the monies from the local bank. So we are engaging, like, for example, with banks like EcoBank, Zenith, UBA, with Chorus, Bank Atlantic, We have arrangement with Standard Bank, then APSA Bank. So all are some of the banks operating in Africa where we have some form of an arrangement, or also some discussions with local banks are also going on. So if these LCs are getting issued from one of these banks, then Exim Bank will be able to facilitate such transactions. So this is something which can be made use of by anyone importing from India, and any banks who are also here would like to engage with us. We are here, so we can definitely let you know about more on the program that we are talking about under trade assistance. With this, I would like to stop. I think I'm seeing that the time I've just short by a minute. We're really grateful once again to EBID. Our President, VP is there, and all the team members. Thank you for organizing such a wonderful event. Thank you so much.